David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another fountain pen review. Today I have for you a pen from a custom pen maker I have previously reviewed who goes by the name of PenTeo. A while back I showed you this model here, which is the Bonita Magma Dragon, which is made from some very cool commercially available resin. But the pen I have for you today is more of a unique creation of his. Pentio is run by a gentleman by the name of Teodor Oniata. He's a Romanian living in the Czech Republic. He's been fascinated by fountain pens since his youth, and about 6 years ago he decided to try his hand at calligraphy. Not long after, he saw a handmade pen made from a local artisan, which led to a discussion with the creator, which led to Teo purchasing the necessary tools to create his own pens. Making pens can be the same kind of rabbit hole that using pens can be. While Teo still creates pens from resin, he has branched out to begin working with different urushi techniques. If you follow him on Instagram or check out his site, you can see a number of his creations. A while back, he reached out to me asking if I would care to review a piece of his urushi work, and I gladly accepted. And what I'm going to show you today is what he sent. The name of the pen is called the Samurai Longsword. What I'm going to do today is go over the parts and features of this pen, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. Thanks go out to PenTeo for providing this pen for review. The pen arrives in this nice wooden box. The top is adorned with the bird that Teo uses as his company logo. It has a magnetic closure, and inside there is a cool leather pouch that has the same bird logo. And inside we have the pen. This is the PenTeo Samurai Longsword. On a side note, in regard to the samurai, one of my favorite films is Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. It's a classic Japanese film that if you haven't seen it is well worth the watch. It's one of the most influential films of all time. Essentially, this small town is being tormented by this group of warriors, and they want to hire some samurai to protect the town. However, the town is very poor, and they don't have much money to pay for the services of the elite samurai. In one scene, a resident of the town is kind of bemoaning that they don't have any money and that all they could afford to pay samurai is rice. Another member of the town then states, "Then go find hungry samurai." I've always liked that scene. For many years, Hungry Samurai has been the name of my fantasy football teams. Okay, back to the pen at hand. This pen is made from a black Nikko ebonite and has been treated in urushi lacquer. The inspiration behind the looks of this pen is the Asian cherry tree. This is what the tree looks like, and then this is what the bark looks like. It's a dark burgundy red with the lighter striped accents. You can see here how the look of the bark was represented here in the urushi treatment on the pen. The urushi technique used to accomplish this is called Sakurakawa nuri. The urushi work on this pen takes up to 4 months to complete. The urushi right now is a deep brownish red, but I've been told that over time the color will change and the reds will become more prominent. Lighting can really play a difference in how a pen looks. These are the original photos of this pen, which Teo sent me, and under that lighting he was using, the pen looks significantly more red. Remember, urushi is a natural material, and factors like exposure to sunlight and humidity over time can alter the looks of a pen. Let's take a look at the top of the cap. The top of the cap is flat with a rounded edge. This transitions into the cap. This is a clipless pen. At an additional cost, you could also have Teo make you a pen stand, which, if you like, can have the same urushi treatment as your pen. The one I received has a treatment a bit different than what's on the pen. The cap angles up just slightly for the first half an inch or so before straightening out for the remainder of the cap. There is no cap band or external branding, and then there is a fairly steep step down to the barrel. The barrel is straight until the final 1.5 inches or so where it tapers down just slightly. On the end, we have a blind cap, which I'll talk about more in just a bit, and the end of the blind cap is flat with a rounded edge. The cap twists off with 1.5 rotations, and underneath there is a very nice Bach 380 titanium nib. The 380 nib is what others might call a number 8 size nib. It's very sleek looking and engraved with the Pentio bird logo. I like how after I inked it up, the ink really helped outline the engraving even more. I'm sure that if I wanted to, I could really wash that off, but I kind of like how it highlighted it. Since this is a custom pen, you can have your choice of a wide variety of nibs. You can have everything from a Jowo number 6 stainless steel nib up to this larger Bach 380 in either gold or titanium. You can even receive custom grinds. This particular nib here is a broad ground into a cursive italic. And here's a look at the low-profile ebonite feed. I really like the looks of these low-profile feeds. The section begins with a raised band and angles up just slightly, maybe only about 1/2 millimeter, before it transitions into the plastic cap threads and a medium-sized step up to the barrel. I will say that the raised band beginning to this section isn't my favorite. I have a few custom pens with that design element. Personally, I prefer a slight flare over a little band like that. I'd categorize that issue as very minor, though. I do find the pen to be very comfortable in the hand. It's rather large and bulky. While it is large, it's not inordinately heavy. Ebonite is a fairly light material. The cap is not designed to post, which is fine given the overall length of this pen. While the pen is oversized, it's not overly cumbersome in the hand. I mentioned the blind cap earlier. When you remove it, underneath you will find that this pen is a button filler. The button filler mechanism utilizes the same parts as the vintage dual fold Lucky Curve. While I have never personally replaced the inner sac on a pen, I have been told that with this pen it's not difficult to do so. And it's something even a novice can handle. You can utilize this filling system by inserting the nib into the bottled ink of your choosing, and then you pump the button. I won't do it now because this pen is inked, but I find that it works well. I do wish the button was a little bit taller. While I operate it, it operates well, but when I'm using it, it just kind of feels like it should be a little bit taller. For the cleaning of this particular pen, you can just either flush some water through the system, or for a more thorough cleaning, you may remove the nib unit. But you want to leave the section alone, unless you're performing some maintenance on the sac. Now, pricing of custom pens can vary greatly depending on what the artisan is going to create for you. If you are potentially interested in having Teo make you a pen, I would recommend contacting him directly through his Instagram or his website. I'll put links to both in the notes below. The prices can range from around $200 for a more plain ebonite pen to up over $1,000 for something with more complicated urushi work and a gold nib. This particular model here with the titanium nib is closer to that $950 to $1,000 range, which is a lot for a pen. But what you are receiving is a one-of-a-kind creation built to your tastes and specifications in a process which can take an upwards of 4 to 5 months to complete. So typically things like that are going to come at a premium price. But I would encourage you to check out his site and his Instagram to see if any of his creations catch your eye. Okay, now it is time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample with this very cool cursive italic nib. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Pentio Samurai Longsword. I just want to give you another close-up look at that treatment and how it really does look like the bark of that tree. It's kind of interesting. In regard to some other urushi pens I have in my collection, here it is with a Nokia Dorsal Fin 2. And then here it is with a Danny Trio Genkai, which is another very large pen. We'll just go ahead and center that out. And then here it is with a Wancher Dream pen in the Akatamanuri finish. And then here we go with some other urushi pens. Here it is with a Namiki Emperor. And then here it is with a pen that it doesn't look like it's an urushi pen, but it is, which is the Pilot Custom Urushi. And then finally, here is a pen from another custom pen maker, and this one was from Tamanuri Studios. And I don't believe this one had a name. I can't recall what the name on that one is, but that's what it looks like in comparison. All these pens are so large, they don't fit into the tray right here. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, Here it is with the Danny Trio, and here it is with the Emperor, and here it is with the Pilot Custom Urushi. So here we go with the writing sample for the Pentio. And this is the Samurai. A Longsword. And this is a cursive italic. And you can tell in the cursive italic, you're going to get the wide strokes going up and down and the narrow strokes going across. And the ink that I'm using here is Franklin Christoph. Urushi Red. This is an ink that I've used in a lot of my urushi pens. You know what? I need to get a new swab. I hate that I dripped a little bit of a blue on there. But it's a nice saturated kind of brownish red. This is what it looks like in comparison to the Laban Aries. And then here it is with the Stilo and Stile Roman Centurion red. Both of those are a little bit lighter in the reds and a little bit less browner. This is what the smaller bottles look like of the Franklin Christoph ink. I know it's hard to see, but I've used quite a bit of this. It's maybe only about a quarter of the way full. So this is a bottle I will definitely finish in the fairly near future. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I will say this cursive italic nib is very pleasant. It's a unique feeling. I will say, though, that it does have a bit of a sweet spot to where you really need to make sure that you're hitting that sweet spot. If you're not hitting that sweet spot, then it can be a little bit sharp and some of the edges can catch a little bit. But overall, I think it's very pleasant. In regard to ink flow, you almost have to go up and down for the ink flow. It's decent. And reverse writing, it's not really necessarily meant for that, but it's very pleasant. It's almost smoother, more upside down than it is the normal way. And in regard to some fast writing, there's no issue with the feed keeping up. It just kind of gives you a nice crisp feeling when using it, and it is very pleasant. So there we have the Pentio Samurai Longsword. I'll put links to Instagram as well as his website in the notes below, but I'd strongly encourage you to check it out, and maybe there's something custom that he can make for you. Okay, until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.